All right, good evening. We're going to start the agenda of the Protection and Policy meeting for Monday, January 9th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. Roll call. Alder Morgan.
Present.
Alder Grant.
Present.
Alder Scannell.
Here.
Alder Stevens, I'm here as well. All present. Number C, approval of the agenda. Take a motion.
Make a motion to, well, should we amend the agenda first?
If you'd like.
Yeah, I could amend the agenda to bring up informational to our first item of just before regular business.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. All right.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda.
All right, second.
Second.
Alder Grant, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it. It's been approved. So approval of the minutes from December 12th, 2022.
I approve those minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
By Alder Morgan, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it. All right, informational liquor violation report.
The police department has no violations to report during this time.
All right, thank you. Motion to receive and place in file.
Motion to receive and place on file. I'll drink to that.
All right, second.
Second.
By Alder. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it. Clerk's office liquor license report.
Yes, thank you. So the City of Green Bay has issued 167 of the 172 available Class B combination liquor and beer licenses. The city has granted but not yet has issued the liquor license for 5 of them, and we cannot take any more applications at this time for available liquor licenses. And then the City of Green Bay also has a quota of 23 Class B combination liquor and beer reserve licenses. We have issued 1, and we have 1 pending application for 1.
Thank you. Motion to receive and place in file.
Motion to receive it and place it on file.
Second.
Second.
Alder Grant, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, on to regular business. Consideration of possible action on an application for a Class B wine-only winery license for SIP LLC at 345 South Adams Street with a licensed premise description as inside building, second floor lounges, room on main floor, half of their cellar space, and barrel area, porch, parking lot, front lawn. Subject to the approval of the proper authorities and requires a waiver in the 6-foot fencing ordinance. Attorney?
No objections to granting the waiver as we did for the previous owner, and no objections to approving the application.
Please.
Please concur with law.
All right, thank you. I'll make my motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Alder Morgan, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it. Consideration with possible action on an application for a reserved Class B combination license for Vast Properties Group LLC at 401 North Washington Street with a licensed premise description as storage 2 large rooms, 1,400 square feet each, shelving, bathroom, mechanical room, office with janitorial sink, subject to the approvals of the proper authorities. Attorney,
No objections.
please.
The community police officer is familiar with the liquor license applicant, has worked with her in the past at other places, so the police have no issue at all.
All right, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
By Alder Grant, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it. Number 3, consideration with possible action on request by Football LLC First and Ball at 301 North Washington Street to approve a change to the business security plan for the possibility of allowing patrons under 21 into the establishment based on its determination of exemption as a bowling center. Attorney?
Recommendation is for the approval because the current licensee has agreed to modified hours for these underage persons, that they be with to 8 p.m., that they be with an of-age person, another parent, and then also that they have a specific process for identifying them with wristbands and such. So we're supportive of the change. The business security plan that they did submit needs to be modified because we agreed on the 8 p.m. time frame post it being included in the packet. So anything else from the police department?
Please.
The police appreciate the owner's cooperativeness and willing to work with us to help better the downtown area without having, we were concerned about issues of juveniles downtown that we had last year, but we're very satisfied with them willing to work with us to limit it to 8 p.m. so the police have no issues.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions?
Sometime after work, we should all. head
Where is
over there.
this
It's a ball.
located? What building was it?
It's the old Children's Museum, I believe.
Okay,
Did you ever go by and see all the bowling pins?
no.
Oh,
My only
They
suggestion
have,
is food.
it's
We did
harder
make a
than
suggestion,
the.
it came up for like birthday parties, corporate events, things, they're already only open till midnight, so not normal bar time hours. And we don't want to limit their business, so we're trying to make the best effort so they can have teenagers and things in for larger events, birthdays, etc.
Thank you. I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Alder Grant, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Number 4, consideration with possible action on an appeal for the denial of Demerado Eccles operator's license. Attorney?
I'm going to defer to the police department for the information regarding their status.
We're recommending denial based on the fact that Mr. Eccles is a convicted felon. His felony conviction was back in 2001, but in June 20th of 2022, Mr. Eccles was sentenced to 18 months of probation, and part of that probation is absolute sobriety, and he's not supposed to be on a licensed premise whose primary business is serving alcohol, and I believe part of his letter is he wants to be a bartender. To me, in good faith, he'd be violating his probation, so the police department does not encourage that. So we recommend denial of his liquor license, or his operator's license.
Questions for?
I believe the individual's here, up to the committee if you'd like to hear from him.
Yep, motion open on the floor.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
Thank you.
All right, floor is open.
I actually have letters of recommendation.
Name and your address, please.
Oh, DeMardo Eccles, 120 North Huron Street, De Pere, 54115. Actually, I have a recommendation letter from my probation officer for this job. I have been bartending for the last couple of years. That 2001 incident wasn't even myself, that's my father. Our names get confused all the time. I am on probation currently. I've been serving my sentence. I also have a letter of recommendation from my AODA counselor as well, and from both of the jobs that I work at.
Can we see those letters?
Going for my probation. This is my AODA counselor.
Spin them around.
And these are both of my current places of employment.
You saw this
Yes.
one? I think you saw this one.
I don't just bartend there. Actually, it's a private event, so we don't just bartend or open to the public. It's always private. We do weddings and receptions. We do private little, Christmas parties for company, big corporations and stuff like that.
This is Gather on Broadway?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bartend there. I serve there. I'm a crew member as well. I train. I do a little bit of everything there, actually. So it's not just like I'm behind the bar the whole time.
And how long have you been working there?
2 years, 2.5 years.
Does that require
Attorney
a
Mahoney,
license?
what date did you have?
License?
Pardon?
What date did you state?
I know he received his probation of June 20th of 2022 for his convictions. His felony conviction is from way back in 2001. That's
That's the only
what,
thing in 2001 to 2000.
he had,
2001, I would have been like
yeah,
13 years old. Like,
Well,
that's not myself, that's my father.
okay.
I can prove that.
He's had some other stuff in CCAP.
I'm not a felon, though.
Oh. Okay.
That's a fact.
So most recently, in 2021, those are misdemeanors. So it's possession of cocaine, offense date 5/24/21. That's the conviction with the 18 months of probation. There's a resisting or obstructing and a bail jumping associated with that. Those are misdemeanors. And then there's other older misdemeanors on the list, which is itemized in the letter from PD. So correction on the felony.
Yes, I didn't realize that was his father when he checked CCAP.
So technically, if he doesn't have a felony, do we have an issue? According to the law?
Well, there's an issue with the current, I guess this letter says corrections, so that obtaining the operator license will help succeed in his journey, but I think that's the police department's opinion. They're the ones that grant the operator license. Based on.
I guess I defer to you. It's a recent possession of cocaine and resisting obstructing charge. I defer to you. If his agent says it's okay, his agent talks to him more, I'm just giving you guys the facts, what we know.
Yep.
So when you're bartending at these parties, you're not the only one there, correct?
Correct.
So if we didn't issue it, it wouldn't affect work, because you would still have someone else who has a license working.
That's correct. If there's someone else with a license, he doesn't need a license, correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
Is this only needed for Gather? Is that license or is it a different
Well,
job?
operator licenses, you can
For
work
all, right?
anywhere, yeah. It's where he's working now, it's ungathered. Do you have any other employment?
No, I just want to stay at Gather.
Just say ungathered, yeah.
You're doing it, Kate?
Yeah, I stay at K's during the day, a forklift at K.
You're doing both?
Yes.
And I noticed from the letter, did the manager at Gather prefer you have a license?
Yeah, I'm just trying to take on more responsibility there. So just in my journey of trying to grow, as a member, or maybe one day I'll be a leader, then they won't have to worry, with me closing. I close the majority of the time, but there always is a supervisor there, of course. But maybe I can be a supervisor one day. So I've been there for a couple of years already. Most of our bartenders there is new. Most of the servers there are new. So I kind of juggle a lot. So I just like to be able to take on a little bit more.
Do you have a letter of recommendation from Gather? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That was
have
one of the
one,
one of the ones.
I didn't
There's
see
four
that
total.
one.
Oh, sorry.
Gather's on there.
You missed that one, okay, sorry.
That
Sure.
one.
Yeah. Yep. I have no further questions.
If you wouldn't mind, we could make a copy of those letters.
Sure. Actually, I already made copies. You can have this.
Perfect, thank you.
Charge a nickel.
said these are copies, so you can keep
No,
these?
correct.
Okay, thank you. And the one that Alder Stevens has too?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Anything else you want to add?
Please. I've talked to you before, actually. Your hair was a little curlier back then.
Yeah.
So that was back when I was gonna run for alderman back then too. So it's been a few years since I've had an incident or any type of criminal activity. The most recent one, I can sit up there and try and explain to you and point fingers and all of that. I'm gonna take it, as a man, own up to my own irresponsibilities and hanging out with the wrong crowd, which I don't do anymore. So it's like I'm focused on my kids. I got my own place now, stay at the pier. Don't stay with nobody. I brought my girlfriend here today, but she has her own place. I got my own place. So I work all day and then I go to work all night. On the weekends, I'm with my kids. So it's just, I want to buy a house and, be a decent member of this community. I'm not trying to finesse the system or something like that. I actually want my license just so I can grow. Seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to close the floor?
Close it first. Close it
Sorry.
first.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Thank-
All right, all in favor of closing the floor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it.
I have a question, Lieutenant Mahoney.
Yes.
Does this change anything, your recommendation?
Knowing that probation and parole wrote that letter, once again, I defer to you guys. I mean, we just present the facts. I've never met Mr. Eccles. I don't have anything against him. We just want to give you the facts, and the facts that we knew or were presented was he was on probation and shouldn't be at a place whose primary service was at. Am I concerned about his recent conviction? Yes. It's not something minor that he was convicted of. It does cause me pause, but I guess if his probation agent in place of employment, then like I said, I'll leave it up to you.
Do we have an idea how much was involved in this cocaine possession? or something?
That I do not know. It was a misdemeanor, so I'm assuming it's not a lot. It's relatively minor, or a smaller amount. If it was bigger, it would have been a felony.
And you yourself are confident now that the felony conviction
Yes,
was
yes,
definitely not our gentleman?
Because I do know of another case that, unfortunately, I believe he was arrested or charged with, and the DA quickly realized it was his father. So yes, I went back and CCAP didn't have the date of birth. I believe on that one that I thought was his felony. So no, he does not have the felony.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
And just a point of order, staff never recommends. They just present the facts and follow the law and so. He doesn't have a felony, so as far as I'm concerned, this shouldn't have even, come to us, and I can understand how it did, but, that's the law. If there's a felony, it comes before us. So there are others who have probably been in his case, but it was, since it didn't fit into the definition of the law, which is it has to be a felony, they weren't presented to us, so, and then plus all the recommendations, and I don't think I have to recuse myself, but I did meet the gentleman a couple of years ago, and we did talk, and he seemed on a pretty good path then. I see no reason to hold him back from any opportunity he may have by having a liquor license.
May I ask the law department, have we any past history of allowing people on probation to obtain liquor license? Or is that
I don't
something?
think, not in this licensing year, that I have knowledge of.
Is
It's
there
not a
anything?
disqualification, it's really the probation agent, in this case Department of Corrections, if they have an issue with it, if it would be a violation of his probation or not.
So the city has nothing that would say this is a violation, giving a liquor license to someone on probation?
No, we have the mandatory denial for a felony, and then criminal convictions are to be considered.
Okay, thank you.
So it's basically case by case.
And the probation officer wrote a letter of
Yeah.
recommendation,
Yeah.
so.
So I make a motion to approve the appeal.
Second.
All right, Alderman Grant. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? All right, the ayes have it. little housekeeping that I didn't do before the meeting. Everything that's discussed tonight is a recommendation to common council, which will be next week,
January 17th.
January 17th at 6 PM for final approval. All right, thank you. Number 5, consideration of possible action on a request by Stefan Heisler at...
Heisler.
Hi, thank you. At 826 South Baird Street to appeal invoices previously discussed at the 12/12/2022 Protection and Policy Committee meeting. Staff?
Hold on, we'll hear from staff first.
Yeah, staff.
I'd just like to note that nothing has changed since that 12/12 meeting. The case is still pending. Inspector Neves has issued 2 reinspection fees since that 12/12 meeting. One was issued on 12/13, violations remained, and then another one on 12/21, same thing, violations remained. So some of the items were corrected, as I stated before, originally in July. Case has been open since May of 2022. Items that are left are broken and damaged fence, and some windows, and those things. Pretty standard from an inspection standpoint. We just need them fixed. He needs to communicate with our plan with the inspector. So, the inspector in this situation, we could be doing daily reinspection fees. That has not occurred. He's received a total of 11 since the complaint was open and those past the expiration deadline of those orders. Usually about a couple a month, so once every week or every 2 weeks, as the inspector has time to go back there, check, see if he's making progress. So to date, we still haven't made any progress. So this is our standard operating procedure for how, and how we've been told to enforce our ordinances.
So as of today, what is the grand total? Let's do.
I'm not certain.
We're still getting from staff,
11 is what I count from when I printed it up today. I count 11 total, but all of those
So
11 aren't up for appeal at this point, so only.
Okay, so what's the total for today?
You have to
The
check
dollar
the date
amount?
whenever the date that the appeal was filed, so when did, it all depends on when this committee received this
I
appeal.
can give you a calculation in a minute.
The reason why I asked is the information that's presented to us online here is all police department and everybody else is in there, so.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a tangle.
And last time we were like, how much? This one's not in there, that one's in there. that one's not.
I do have a question for staff.
Any clarification?
Yeah. With the fence, if I remember right, reading, it was a neighbor's fence that flew into his fence? Is that, hang on. You'll have your time to, so how does that, I mean, he still needs to get his fence fixed, but how does that work with the neighbor at all, or how does that?
Yeah, whoever put the fence up and whoever the structural elements around his property that, in that situation.
You should take to small claims court or whatever?
Yeah, it becomes a civil matter.
Matter.
So if the fence is on his property, regardless, he put it up, he bought the house,
Right.
they would have to take it down. So
Right.
here are the rest of the items from the last reinspection we did.
Well. Window. Okay, window.
So could you just, doesn't have to necessarily replace it.
Did you want to see it?
I'm sorry.
That's not the path that makes sense.
So for
I have no further questions.
Has the resident been in communication with the city, working with us, talking about timelines that are manageable?
No, that's why we're issuing reinspection fees. The whole premise of it is, is to see progress. If people are making progress, as long as we're heading in the right direction, we don't issue reinspection fees. It's when progress stops, communication stops, and we're not getting anywhere towards resolution. So, pressure in this situation sounds like, from looking at the orders, we were getting progress. Some of the orders had been corrected. There's several ordinance violations that were corrected in July, August, October.
and then for whatever reason, we kind of just stand still. So intermittently, reinspection fees are issued along the way. When we issue a reinspection fee, we get a little bit of progress, and then it would stop and start. So we're looking at just trying to wrap it up. It costs the city and the taxpayers money. Every time I have to send an inspector over to follow up, and kind of we get a lot of these complaints. So in our opinion, it's not fair for everybody that is following the ordinances, taking care of it in an appropriate time frame, working out extensions and stuff. So I have to keep sending resources over there. There's a cost to that.
Need clarification. When was this photo taken of the fence? Or how long we've been dealing with this fence?
The fence order was issued with a due date of September 15th of 2022.
You're not on the fence on that at all?
Not on the fence on that.
Because he did get defensive.
Okay, thank you.
That applies to chain link fence in the rear yard and left/south side of the residence. And that photo was on, that Inspector Hughes is on the top of his, he emailed it to himself and it's in our case files. I believe that was on the 21st.
Okay, so what's the dollar amount that we're talking about there?
So bill for yours is it just the 1020 invoice and 11/4 for inspections, $50 reinspection fees? So the police, the first invoice that's for police department, that has passed. That's the 598, those are for charges from April 13th and September 1st. It's my understanding, I guess DPW is handled by INS. So we're looking at a reinspection fee for 9/20 was late. This appeal was 11/14, it was received 11/14, 30 days. So then we have October 20th. I'm sorry, October 6th is late.
October 12th, just as the...
Yeah, October 11th. So we have those last, it was received on the 14th. So that's 14th?
Six, I think it counts 6, if you include the ones that we received during this appeal.
Okay, the ones that were on here before that are of the documents, there's an 11/48, 10/20, and 10/13. I think 10/13 is late. So there are 2 plus these, what were the new ones really right now? The 4 additional?
They were issued, one was just issued on 12/21, and then another one on 12/13.
Okay. This was submitted on November 14th, so it would be before that. This is the appeal of the inspection fees for 11/4 and 10/20, and he has 30 more days on the December, 30 days from the issuance. So I think if I'm reviewing these correctly, it's October 20th and 11/4.
So the earlier ones have been remitted because he did the work?
Well, I think he
Or
was
they're
already
just-
heard, I think he was already heard on appeal on some of those at a previous meeting.
Oh, okay, those are the ones.
But for this one, it's 30
okay.
days. Yeah.
Right.
And the appeal is 30 days, which
Right.
the
Now it's coming back.
confirmed was 11/14. So we have 10/20 and 11/4. The ones from December, which came in after the appeal, still has 30 days from the date of issuance to appeal those.
So we're talking $100?
For the initial
For this.
appeal, yeah, but now it's grown since then.
But we can't discuss that right now.
You could, I mean, it's all, I'd rather do it right now than,
Mhm.
kind of do the back and forth thing.
So $100 and then what else?
Well, Mr. Creaser hasn't appealed those fees from December yet. So we should focus on the 2 that are listed for this appeal, because this is what was sent back to committee to hear, these charges.
So if I
No,
understand
you
correctly,
won't
No,
complicate it
that's
with
fine,
necessary,
that's
no.
fine.
Right.
deal with the $100.
Yes, invoice October 20 and November 4.
Any other questions for Sam?
No.
Take a motion to open the floor.
If just one, so if he does start cooperating and stuff, I mean, the latest one could end up being remitted perhaps by staff.
Well, we wouldn't charge you, so
Right,
what it is, it's for when the inspector goes back that day if the violations remain.
Right.
And there's been no progress, there's been no communication, the inspector issues a fee for service for that day
Right.
for having to continue to follow up.
Yep.
That's what it's for. So
Okay.
if the resident homeowner communicates, says, here's my plan, and it's acceptable based on what the inspector work out, no fees are.
So the last appeal, which was denied, have those fees been paid currently?
Not that I'd have to look at, I don't see when the fees are paid, that goes to the clerk's office. But I do not believe so. But more have been issued since that last fee is denied, that's the point.
I would like to know if the fees have been paid. Well, from last time it was body.
I can present that to you by council, is that all right? Or can I send an email tomorrow?
So I think it'd be beneficial to see if they've been paid from the last
By
time.
council,
Perhaps you could ask him.
by council, yeah, we can check with, but confirmation by council.
Right. Ready to open the floor?
Make a motion to open the floor.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, you can come on up now.
Now, in my defense, I was transported by bicycle all summer long and into the fall until a couple weeks ago, because that was my only means of transportation. It's difficult to bring building materials home on your back on a bicycle. Rather difficult. This would be the fence in question here. This chain link fence here gets vandalized occasionally by a couple of people I know who crawl through it. It's relatively a decent fence, except it's not making connection to the post there. But the wooden fence that we see in the background there is leading at a 30-degree angle. That gets ignored. Well, the windstorm of November 5th blew it right into my yard, almost up against my house, and wiped out this
But
section
that's
of
not your
fence anyway.
fence, correct?
But-
That's not your fence? The wooden fence is not your fence?
No,
Okay, that's not part of the,
no. But it's an obvious violation, and obvious danger.
it has to be reported, that's how we work.
Also, the building supply situation was difficult for me because I was transported by bicycle. I have been making progress, however. The shutter that didn't match, I was able to pick up a matching one at Home Depot about a week ago. Right there, that shutter is not quite the same length. It now matches, and the colors are matched also. There are a couple of windows in my house that my daughter and her boyfriend like to break into my house through, and that leaves a bit of a damaged window. I patched them up as best I can. I'm not sure what to do about their crawling through my window. Police have dealt with them. They both have mental issues, shall we say. It's not obvious if you walk down the street there. You have to have a close inspection to see what's up with it. Anyway, if you're right there and you're staring at a wooden fence leaning at a 30-degree
Could I see that
angle.
picture of your fence, please? Because it varies differently from the one we have here.
This is the more recent one, yeah, that's after his fence blew down. It took it right out.
Okay, and this
Yeah,
is,
we take it right out.
this is the most recent picture?
No, that was back in the fall when the fence things were being pointed out. You know, that was the fall,
Okay,
mid-October.
so this is the current state of the fence?
Right after his flew into me and just wiped it right out.
Okay, well, that's an issue you gotta take with him, you know? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I want a clarification on that for this one that you sent us.
Right, that's the same
That's the
thing.
same.
This was same,
Sure.
exact same thing.
You state November 5th of what year?
This year, the windstorm of November 5th is when that blew the fence
Okay.
into there and wiped it all out.
But a little
This was taken
but-
in
This is
late
the recent,
October.
this is the recent.
Sure, but I'm a little reserved on that one because when this was printed was 11/3/2022. And you state November 5th. And this
The
was printed
windstorm of
on.
November 5th
What you,
took
what
out
you,
that
what you
wooden fence.
photoed.
Yeah, you
This
see the
was
fence was
before
still
the
standing.
storm.
The fence was still standing there at that time.
Are we talking about this one or the wood one?
The wood one is the neighbor's fence.
Sure,
Which
what-
blew
which-
into my yard and wiped that chain link fence right out.
On November 5th.
November 5th, yes.
Okay, got it. Thanks for
Yeah.
clarification.
Yeah. Well, anyway, being on bicycle does sort of limit the amount of building materials you can haul home from Home Depot all the way across town on your back, you know? I'm a 65-year-old guy too, you know. But I'm making headway on these various issues, but the windows are a sticking point because I have a daughter and her boyfriend, well, they with mental issues, would break into my house all the time and I'd get something to eat or something to steal or God knows what. But I do make some headway on it. In any case, I went through the neighbors, just to walk up and down the street there. To say that mine is worse than them is one heck of a stretch. And the worst of all was when the city crews were sent out to clean up my place. Well, it was not particularly bad in the first place. Sandy Winemaker is my neighbor down the street there. She saw him pull on. I was working overtime on the day, which I do a lot. Transported by bicycle. They even stole my bicycles out of my backyard and trashed them. But those are my backup wheels, you know, because bicycles do tend to break, you know. You always have to have spare one ready to go and away it goes. So just because it's a bicycle and it's upside down with a wheel missing, well, it's under repair. You know, because bicycles do break, and well, you better have a spare to make it into work the next morning in case the one you plan on using, it's got a flat or something like that. It's the way bicycles are. So to say I haven't been making any headway there, well, part of it was difficulty transporting building materials and other type of things, or do things with. I now have a van to haul stuff around in, and to focus on my particular small violations there and ignore all the others. It's all about reporting. Well, geez, if you're here to inspect, how can you miss the 30-degree tilt angle on the neighbor's wooden fence there and just focus on, well, the pipe's not hooked up to that, and yes. And the windstorm did wipe out that entire section of fence there that was previously pictured there.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah,
Do you personally need this fence?
no, I'm gonna take it out. It was for a dog I used to have. He said a Great Dane. He used to, well, he would be good to run into the traffic, you know, so it was there for him. So I'm just gonna remove it entirely.
Is there a reason why you haven't removed it yet?
Well, the neighbor's still dealing with his situation with his fence.
Well, that's,
I didn't want to
that
get in his way.
situation, I understand that, but we're dealing with you.
All right.
I can understand if you don't remove the poles because they're frozen in the ground at the moment, but the stuff that's laying on the ground, can you just remove that now? And
I can remove that now. He was still in the process of dealing with his fence area when it blew over into my yard.
So regarding your neighbor's fence, have you looked and see if inspections was called out to that yet?
I don't
Have you
believe it
reported
was.
it?
No.
Or have you been on parcel data to see if there's been?
I'm not sure where exactly to look for that. Yeah. He's got a makeshift fence going on the grounds where the old one used to be. It's just a little bit of wire fence is all it is.
Have you taken him to small claims or anything, or
No,
tried
I
to settle
don't
up
want
with
to
him?
start, I don't want to start fights with my neighbor, you know? I got
Well,
one
with
across
his
the
fence,
driveway, he just loves doing that to me, but I'm not that kind of guy to poke the neighbor in the eye and that sort of stuff, no?
That sounds like you're not happy with the fence. We all understand that it's your
Yeah.
neighbor's fence, you know. And Alder can probably help you go through that, but we're only dealing with
Yes.
your issue at the moment.
Yes, well, right, main violations and the 30-degree lean on the wooden fence there staring right in the face while he's doing it, you know? It's like, well, hey, you paying any attention to what you're doing or what?
The picture we have that I'm looking at on the computer, what holds your fence up on the side that, where his wooden fence is? I don't see any posts going up in there.
There are, see, is this the one with the snow on the ground?
No, it's leaves, yeah.
Leaves still yet. I have to take a
It said
peek
it
at the
was
leaves
from-
picture here.
It says it was from that November
Yes.
5th.
I think it's the
There
same
were-
picture that he had.
The steel posts coming up from the ground, there were 3 of them or 4 of them, and a steel pipe going across the top, to which the woven wire makes contact and connections there, and they were not attached to the ones going upwards, because these vandals would break through my fencing on a regular basis.
In this picture here, it doesn't show any though on the left side where his wooden fence is. Was there one there?
There
at
should be
time?
one there.
Yeah, in the printout it's there.
You see them?
There was a wholly intact fence until these vandals started to break their way through it.
I think
Vandals
it's
include my daughter and her boyfriend, and somebody else we go by the name of.
kind of blends in with the fence, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, right here. That's what this is.
And this picture here,
So where were all those posts?
It blends into the
Right.
fence, but-
where the shutter doesn't match, that's been replaced with one that does match. The difficult part is a couple of windows where daughter and her boyfriend, a couple other miscreants that like to crawl through, you know, to break into my house. not my doing or my negligence, they keep on, can break it.
Are you aware that if you reach out to the city and work with them on a date, they will offer an extension typically?
No. I'm used to getting 72-hour notices for my truck being parked in my driveway. Well, it's not an inoperable vehicle, it just didn't have its key at that moment, you know, but it was dialed right in by the guy across the driveway because he likes to book me in the eye, you know, but I'm not like that. But
Okay, but just so you understand that with your property, complaints are made, staff has to inspect, and they only follow complaints. And if you work with staff, they will not issue citations for reinspection fees. So if you need time because you've only got a bicycle, and you talk to staff and explain this to them, if you speak to staff that the problem with this window is you fix it and it keeps constantly get broken into, perhaps staff can help you solve how to handle that, or at least staff is aware that that's the problem there and that can be taken into account. So the only reason there are reinspection fees is that you are not working with staff to get the problem solved. It sounds like you've done some work.
well, back in 2021, I had some things that need fixing, such as the roof on my garage. It was saggy and it was leaking. I replaced the roof. My deck was kind of falling apart. I got that fixed up, and several other items as well, you know. They just continually drip, all like the neighbor across the driveway was trying to harass, is what he's trying to do, because these are relatively minor things. Is my eaves both hooked up down the ground where the vents on the ground? Well, anybody pay attention to that? And the fencing, that's vandalism. You know? So I'm just gonna remove the darn fence there, and it's there to vandalize.
Again, there's nothing we can do about the cause, and that, you know, there's nothing, all we can do is, has to get fixed, whatever the cause, and you need to take the steps to do that, and if you need time, or if you need this or that, if you work with staff, do you have contact information for the inspector?
I've written back before, and it never really did much good. This is back with my garage roof and other things. I got that taken care of. The garage looked pretty good now.
So then-
Well,
It was all done and taken care of,
Yeah.
there's no need to respond. So if you contact staff and tell them, I mean, you look at what work needs to be done, make a plan of how you can address that, explain to staff, they will not be issuing reinspection fees.
yes. Well, I'm looking at cleaning up the damage done by my neighbor's fence when it blew into my yard.
Well, again, that's between you and your neighbor, and if you don't want to poke the
No,
neighbor,
I don't wanna poke the
that's
neighbor.
your call. But again, that's nothing we can deal with unless it's reported. So we just deal with the effect it had on yours because that was reported. So that's what we have to deal with.
Yes. Well, the frozen in things to the ground is gonna be difficult to deal with.
Well, and then you just tell that to inspection and say, you know, you can get this out in the spring, or, you know, come up with a plan. Look at what needs to be done, come up with a plan, contact inspection, and work it through, and no fees will be issued.
The major stuff was all taken care of back in 2021, starting with the garage. These are all piddly little things. Like, is anybody paying attention to whether somebody's crawling through my window or not? Well, I don't like them crawling through my window, but what am I gonna do to my daughter? You know?
Well, again, there's nothing we can do about that either, and if that's a problem as far as getting something fixed, that's something you should bring up with staff and problem solve with them. If there's issues that you can't plan out on your own, talk to staff and see what resources they may have, or what ideas they may have for you. You know, it's the violations, you know, we have our ordinances, we all have to follow the law.
But there's all these other, one thing, just a trip up the street, one block, one way, one block, the other way, just one.
Again,
that's-
staff does not go looking for violations. It's all by reports, whoever reports it.
Yes, I know what the source is too, it's across my driveway.
Well, that's how we operate, that's how the city operates. So, all we want to do is fix the violations, that's all any of us are concerned with.
I see on the nuisance property list of offenses there is harassment is number one there. Well, that would be the guy across the driveway. But anyway, I am making some progress. It's not due to lack of good faith or anything like that. I was
Police would like to speak.
not
yeah.
able to transport during the several months because I was bicycling.
Are we allowed to allow police to speak? The
Or staff?
Staff.
Staff.
Well, wait, whoa. We're not done yet. We may have some
Okay.
questions for you or something.
Yeah.
The information that he showed you in regards to the other, that was included in the packet, our inspection department received those, we entered those and followed up, and or are in the process of following up on all those if they're still pending. So any of the complaints or items that we received, we enter into the system and we'll follow up.
So your neighbor's fence is in the system?
If it
And your
was
neighbor
entered-
will be
if it was entered in
issued?
that packet, if we received a complaint about it, we'll follow up on it.
Well, I did complain about it. and I
We
just-
received the packet and we received the appeal packet.
Right.
There were photos and there were
Right.
stuff we received that. when we
And so that
received it,
was
we'll follow up.
as good as a report, and so you followed up on that. Okay, so that is being dealt with by our city?
Well, the fence is now gone, the wind took it up.
No?
Problem solved.
Now we just need to take care of your fence. Anything else you, well, I have no other questions.
No?
Anything else? Thank
Not
you.
Thank you. Motion to close the floor?
Motion to close the floor
Second.
before someone falls
All in
in.
favor?
Aye.
All right, that's now closed. Discussion?
Well, and until the work gets done, I don't want to accept the appeal. I mean, that's staff's tool to get property owner's attention to get the work done. So I want to deny the appeal, have him work with staff, and staff work things through, and then see where we end up when that's all done. So, you know, because staff will, at times, if work is being done, they'll remit the fee, or they'll stick with it depending upon, you know, circumstances, whatever. So let's see how we all end up. So I make a motion to deny the appeal.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, the ayes have it. Good to go. All right, thank you. Next is consideration of possible action on a request by Alder Weary, District 8, to request a written and verbal report of the 11/1/2022 election, explain the early absentee voting, handling of ballots, what is the chain of custody procedures until election day counting. Take it Alder Weary is not here.
I don't see him on Zoom.
Questions, comments? Anybody here that wants to talk on it, speak on
We
it?
don't have a report though yet.
I mean, I
correct?
think the recommendation is to refer.
For the staff?
Refer to staff for a scheduled presentation at the next meeting.
Yes.
That's correct, which would be the 23rd.
Alder
I believe that was
Weary.
discussed with the clerk.
Conversation with me in December, Alder Weary wanted to put this on here in case there was anybody from the public that wanted to talk about it. But I guess there isn't, and Alder Weary is not here to talk about it either, so,
And there's no report yet anyway.
no.
So I make a motion to refer to staff to report at our next meeting, and then there can be any discussion from the report.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn it.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, we're now adjourned.
Do we have to discuss moving meetings to 6 or?
We all agree, right, 6 o'clock?